have Trevor from Albany and Ishard Ingress. All right, so I've got to get this question out there, and it is the elephant in the room. Will you guys be watching the Super Bowl, the Puppy Bowl, or the Kitten Bowl on Sunday? We'll start with you, Trevor. And unmute. Everyone else take a shot.
Take a shot. There you go. Trevor, you have to unmute yourself. It's the only way we can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Perfect.
All right. I will be watching none of those things. I can't watch that.
Okay.
Nothing?
No, we can
Hello?
hear it. There's like this strange. Whoa.
Hello?
Okay, now we can hear you. All right, so you will not be watching any of them. What will you be doing instead?
Be spending time with my wife because I have not watched football in like 10 years.
Have you been married for 10 years?
No, I've been married for a month.
Oh,
okay.
congratulations.
Nice.
And how about you, Ishard? What will you be watching?
I'm definitely more in the Kitten Bowl camp than I am the Puppy Bowl camp. I'm not really a big fan of more professional sports. Plus, I've got 4 cats, so they would look down upon me if I, yeah, kind of important. They like to see that kind of thing. So.
No guinea pig bowl? No Percy bowl?
But well. Something like that, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, now that we've cleared that up, let's move on and talk about the game that we all play and love and why we're here. So, Trevor, what initially caught your interest about Ingress, and I guess what keeps you playing?
I think I was on day 3. My girlfriend at the time got in like the first day, and she got me my invite, and then she stopped playing for about a year and a half. It took her the longest time to get to level 8 of anyone in our community. We got a really great bunch of people here, and I wouldn't give them up for anything.
Nice. So the social aspect, yeah, that's definitely keeps a lot of people playing around.
Most of them are at the we do Thursday meetups, so they're all at a bar right now having drinks and delicious sandwiches and stuff like that. So I gave up a lot to be here.
Well, thank you for sacrificing your social time to be with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So, Ishard, how about you? What caught your interest with Ingress?
Well, originally, way back in the day, I was a geocacher before anything else. It was kind of an excuse to go out, and I'm a big nature buff, so I like to go out, kind of explore the woods, find containers, all that sort of thing. And a couple years later, came to Charleston. My friend, he's big into, well, he works with cell phones as part of his job, and he talked about this new thing he found out called Ingress, and it was, at the time, it was in a closed beta. And he described the game to me, and my first impression was, of course, well, unfortunately, I said, that sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But really, wow. Yeah, it was definitely just the whole aspect of getting out and exploration of the area.
So it kind of took your geocacher roots of going out and exploring, kind of put it into the video game frame, so you can do 2 things at once. Your caches are now virtual, I guess, but have you found a blend between the two? Like, have you been able to cache at the same time you play Ingress?
Honestly, not as much. I haven't cached as much in the past couple of years. Back when I started, it was more, it was like me and a couple of other people in the area. So it was more, I would compare it to the same way that, like the early days of Ingress versus now, it was just you and a couple of people. So, everyone knew each other, everyone's kind of, same idea, basically. But that community has gotten so big that you can't walk within 5 feet without bumping into a cache, and it just sort of lost some appeal to me. So, yeah, I don't really cache as much anymore. Wish I could say a little bit more about that, but
It's all good. It's all good.
All right. And what would you say is your Ingress claim to fame? Trevor, let's start with you. Are you muted again?
Yeah. Someone's unmuting me for me, and then I'm muting myself back. I'm an organizer for my area, so all the new events and stuff like that come out, I get to organize, even if I don't get to attend. We did the first Ingress FS, the very first round where they sent all the great goodies, and I got to put it on and get everybody organized, and everyone got to go. We got the first mission in the area, and then I had to leave for an emergency. I didn't even get to go to it.
Oh, dear God.
Okay. But I have a really great bunch of people here, and they pick it up when I have to leave, and they get to run all the fun stuff. We did mission day here and had a bunch of really great swag, and we'd love to have an anomaly someday, but also we'd really not like to have an anomaly someday, so it's all kind of crazy.
Hint, hint. So just for people who are planning some first Saturdays, what would you say is a good tip for a successful event?
You have to have cross-faction participation. You have to get them on board. Here it's a really big issue, trying to get both sides to work together because we fight like cats and dogs. So it's like the only event that we can have everyone in the same place without it just being like a call-off fest. But we've been successful several times getting everybody together and just having a good time, and then we can go back to our warring ways. So
that's really cool. Yeah, no, good point. And how about you, Ishard? What about your claim to fame?
Well, I wish I could say it was something more than what I am, but it was basically just my little G+ page. Started back last summer, kind of just an in-joke. I just took some inspiration from the Youngin, basically. I'm just kind of added a little bit of an Ingress twist to it. A couple of friends added, and then a couple more, and unfortunately, here I am today. No. Yeah.
Do you have a particular inspiration for some of your, some of your creative posts?
It just kind of comes out of my experiences in the past couple of years of the community. Really, just sort of as, I guess you might say, like the silent observer. Although I will admit a couple of things. Got into a couple of arguments myself back in the day, but but it really just kind of comes down to the things that I've seen and the interactions with the community, and I will say it helps to actually that it has gotten more popular because I get exposed to. I have random strangers that'll come out of nowhere and say, it's like, here's some strange Ingress over here on this corner of G+. I'm like, oh, well, thank you, random stranger. I appreciate that. And there's little things like that. I can't say it's as much about my experiences anymore, though. Not nearly as active as I was back in the day. So.
I hadn't noticed it wasn't really about your experiences anymore.
Yeah.
Let's talk after the show. Just a couple of ideas, maybe some things that run past you. Just.
No, I think we're good. I'll go immediately once we're done here.
It's all good. I'm a big fan. We've talked about you and your content in the office a couple times, and it's had us in stitches. So yeah.
No, Ed, I'm actually a big. This sounds so stupid. When you mentioned iShard for the first time back in the day when I had first started out, I ran down the stairs. I'm like, Andrew said iShard, like some sort of 9-year-old kid. Yeah, I'm totally proud of that moment. But
there can be, as we've seen recently, some pretty strenuous and stressful times, in the game because people are very vested in it, and you provide some levity that I think it is needed at times, and so I don't personally take offense to it. I love it, so props to you.
Most people don't. That's what I'm glad about that. I worry about that, but
Yeah. You can't. Life's too short to take things too serious. So, um, speaking of taking things seriously, for those of you that are watching out there, if you want to interact with us and about the dozen or two folks who are, in our chat room acting like the peanut gallery and throwing things our way, you can just go to our website, behindthescanner.com. From there, all you have to do is click on chat up at the very top, and then pick a name, any name, and click, I think, log in. And there you go. You could be chatting with us instantly. So, all
And we've got
right.
a couple of really great hosts in there.
We do. We have some great hosts. We're always giving away codes, so especially if you have a question for the guests, you'll be able to ask that in there as well. Now that we've knocked that out, let's get back to the guests. So both of our guests tonight have been ingressing for a few years now. Trevor, I think you've been playing since pretty much the beginning, and Ishar definitely at least since early 2013. So how has your style maybe changed from the early days? Have you noticed a change in the way you played back, when you first started to now?
Well, when I first started playing, there were 5 portals that I could reach within about 45-minute travel. There was nothing here at all. There was 3 other players, only one of which was on the other side, and he made up for it. But yeah, there was no cubes. It was a very primitive scanner. It was, bare bones kind of Ingress kind of thing. It took forever to level. It took forever to get anywhere. You guys were having events over on the West Coast. We didn't have anything here until Minotaur and Cassandra. That's where I met Daphne the first time. But, I mean, then we have probably 1,500 portals downtown now. We have them all over the region. We have hundreds of players. It's a lot of them, like, we would go out and we would find them and meet them at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, hey, are you playing Ingress? And they'd be like, I can't believe I'm talking to a stranger at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we get them in the game and get them in our communities, and our community has such varying people from all different walks of life that I would have never met if it weren't for Ingress. And they're a really great bunch of people. So, I mean, that was in the beginning, and I mean, it started out really slow, and it got really, really active, and now I'm just kind of semi-retired, just kind of keeping the peace and making sure everything works together, and going to anomalies, and just, meeting the friends that I've met along the way and having a good time.
Yeah, and there are anomalies that are coming up actually in this month, less than 23 days away. So, man, I'm going to thread Jack for a little bit, and I apologize, but the last anomaly series came down to 1 single point, and the previous anomaly series came down to 400 points. So, if you haven't been to an anomaly and there's one near you, you should definitely go to it, because every single agent and every point matters. And it's a global thing. So don't think that, well, I'll just take the day off because Vienna will do better or something like that. It's really important to get out there. So especially for the enlightened, we gotta get going for the Gipper. So, all right. I start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I start. What about yourself? How's your play changed since the early days to now?
Well, for me, it's a lot less active, definitely, than the old days. It used to be, when I started summer of 2013, it was, like a lot of us, I ended up with the bug. And every time I worked 5 days a week, and on my days off, it was the middle of summer, I was downtown. I had a tan by the end of the summer, because I live on the north end of Charleston. And at the time, there was maybe 2 or 3 portals up that way. They were all post offices, so I would have to commute pretty much all the way downtown, and I would get there early, maybe 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I would just start and go, and basically sun up to sundown. That's actually how I ended up in the community that I am in the first place. They pretty much tracked me across town one day. I was completely oblivious that there was even such a thing as a community until they tailed me. But as for how it's changed over the years, Um, Honestly, it felt all. I can't speak for every. Yeah, I can't speak for the game as a whole, but I feel like every town has kind of solidified to, at least a lot of the towns I see, they've solidified their strongholds, so to speak. They've like Charleston is almost entirely green nowadays. We have other cities nearby that are almost entirely blue, and it's very interesting to see how uh, you know like reinforces like. It used to be a joke. You can't really win at Ingress. You're always going to lose your portal, but it's starting to feel like we've gotten to a point where you know at certain areas at least there have been winners and losers, and unfortunately, at least for me, a lot of the thrill is gone because upgrading all day is really not, without having to make a road trip, just not nearly as exciting as it used to be. I'll just say that.
Well, what would you say are some indirect benefits that you've discovered while playing Ingress? Ishard, all of you?
Well, basically, I owe knowing Charleston. I actually moved here from Myrtle Beach right before I discovered the game, and so outside of work, I really knew no one in the area. I didn't really know the area in particular, and I have to say this game worked like a charm. It really kind of forced me first downtown to discover downtown, and then the outlying areas, and then through the community you started discovering little spots here and there. You meet up at like, oh, this is a nice bar. Oh, this place has good food. Little things like that, and before you know it, you're local, and you don't really know what happened.
Okay. How about you, Trevor?
Well, I guess I got a lot more exercise. At one point, I was using Ingress as a weight loss plan. I managed to lose 35 pounds jogging around playing Ingress. And then winter came and I got it all back, so that was nice. And then I've spent a lot more money than I would have going to anomaly sites. A really, really fantastic journey to Atlanta, where we picked up 6 people in New York City and 1 in New Jersey, and rented a car and ran down to Atlanta, only to lose the anomaly there, which was fun. I think I drove 34 hours in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, you go all these fun places and you get to see all these sites that people just walk by, and the game shows you them and they tell you a little bit about them, and suddenly people are asking you what things are, like you're a tourist guide, and also telling you to put down your phone, which is always fun. Gettysburg had a lot of that, and going through the memorials, people are like, there's memorials everywhere. Why are you looking at your phone? Why are you playing this game? You even see this thing here? Oh yeah, that's a statue of. Let me see here.
It is interesting. It's like a natural. You can just start conversations with people when they start to not curse you out, but you point out you're on your phone. You're like, yes, but did you know that what you're standing in front of was built in 1945 and it was the wife of the so and so? Yeah, they're like, what? From the game?
We have a regular farming loop, which is this Albany or rural cemetery. It's Albany Shaker sites, the Shaker settlement for this like long ago people, right? And we started playing there, and we made it into our little like 8 farm, and the frogs would come through, and that was kind of fun. And too many people were going there, and so the state police would have to monitor it, and they were like, "What are you all doing here?" And they'd kick us out. And then after a while, they'd be like, "So you guys are Ingress players?" And every so often, we'll get people coming in. It's near the airport. They'll go through, and they'll be like, "Huh, so I went to your site, and the cops pulled me over and said, 'Are you playing Ingress?'"
Whoa.
Like, and then they let them go. And the site has actually gone out of its way and told the police, look, these people are coming through here more than any patrol that we could hire, and we're getting less break-ins, and people are not coming here because there's always these nerds playing this game at our site. So, I don't know. It's just a fun game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, why don't you guys take a little bit of a break for a hot second? I'm going to catch up everybody on the developments of the Ingress storyline, give out some codes. So go grab some water, some beer, Capri Suns, whatever you're drinking, and we'll come back to you guys in just a second. So with that, I guess I'm filling in for Jose Antonio Ray, who couldn't be with us tonight, and I'll be doing the weekly truth. So bear with me. I think, what do we have going this weekend? We had, the Acolyte is still trying to find the Circle of Obsidius, which is an ancient artifact, kind of like the Shonen and Helios artifacts. It's a technology that was, I guess, discovered by a Roman spy or an explorer whose name was Obsidius. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to investigate.ingress.com. There's a whole backstory. They make it really super easy to follow. Everything is done in chronological order. I found it interesting, though. I know that the Acolyte and Jahan both reached out to Ada to try to form an alliance. So P.A. Chapeau was recapping everything on investigate.ingress.com and mentioned that. So I'm not sure what's up with that, because that just seems a little bit weird. Yeah, the Resistance and the Enlightened are reaching out to Ada to form an alliance. Let's see, what else happened? We've got... Oh yeah, so recently, like 6.5 hours ago, part of the quest for the Circle of Obsidius are these portal drops and clues. And there was one that got found literally like 6.5 hours ago by, I think his name is, I got it written down here, Jean Carmine Dev. It was found in Pompeii. It was at a temple to an Egyptian god named Isis. And I guess there's some prophecies, some things about the future in there. And it led to another clue. So definitely go check that out. Giancarlo's post, if you go, I don't have it here handy, but I'll put it in the links to the comments. I think there's some anomaly-related information that we need to find and track down in these portal drops. Then, also, there is a rumor, some grumblings. Some of the folks I know around here in DC are saying that somebody from IQ Tech, maybe one of Hank's friends, has got some sort of important information regarding the anomalies, and that we need to keep an eye out for a mission that's going to start, I think, sometime this weekend in this Washington, D.C. area. So if you live in Washington, D.C., help me keep an eye out for, I don't know what it is. Hopefully we get more information soon. But apparently there's something really important about the anomalies that's going to be released. And yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but we'll track it down. Maybe we got to go somewhere. I'm not sure. So keep an eye on that. Again, that was a Hank Johnson thing, so I'm sure that'll pop up on his Google Plus page or something as well. That's about it. That's the recap. Obsidian, the quest is still going strong. We're trying to get more information, and again, if you're interested in the story and you don't want to hear me bumble and fumble and stumble around, you can go to investigate.ingress.com. It's all listed there in a very nice chronological order. Sorry I butchered your segment, Jose, but I promise you can have it back next week when you're done traveling around the world doing your special things. So with that, let's move on to the other favorite segment of the show, and that is...
Wait, tell me more about Hank being in D.C.
I don't know that it's Hank. All I know is, obviously, there's special things that happen in the D.C. area. There's a lot of government agencies here, and there's a couple of tidbits of information have been leaked out that something about IQ Tech and something about D.C. and the anomaly, the Obsidian anomaly, and this weekend. I don't know any more than that. When I try to push for information, they kind of clam up. But if anything happens, I assume it's going to happen soon because the anomaly's right around the corner. So.
All right, local teammates, let's get on it.
All right, now let's give away some codes. So, as we used to do back in the day, like Vanna White. There we go. That wasn't really the Wheel of Fortune soundtrack. But there you go. Those are the codes of the show. They are highly redeemable, high quality. There's no refunds. You have to punch them in. You have to claim them. I don't know what they are. Hopefully there's something good. You can reshare them. They might be good for 5. They might be good for 5,000. So put them in quick. Leave them up there for a few seconds. And there you go. Oh, yeah. Somebody just sent me the message that, yeah, Hank had a, was this from Mustafa said? Hank had a storage locker in the DC area, like Tyson's Corner.
Whoa.
Was that right? Mustafa's in our chat room. He'll be able to confirm that. We'll give him a little bit as those codes are up there. Yeah, there was a storage locker, I think, in Tyson's Corner. So I don't know if Hank's coming back. I don't know if somebody else is trying to do something, but we'll figure it out. Yes, Mustafa, I think he's saying aye. Yes, he's confirming that. So more to come. For those of you that are the investigators and investigators, start searching and looking for things. Keep your eyes and ears to the ground. That didn't make any sense, but we'll roll with it. All right, codes have been up there for long enough. Let's get back to the show.
All right, well, you want to ask a question of Ishard?
I don't know, do I? I probably do. I was changing my
I
codes.
can. I think
Okay.
you know.
I'll try my best.
Well, you'd mentioned before the show that you're kind of an amateur weather buff. And so we'd actually like to test your knowledge of rare weather phenomena. So, pop quiz, what the heck is thundersnow? And have you ever experienced it?
Well, I'm from South Carolina. We don't really get snow. Yeah, they had the big blizzard up in the U.S. East Coast, though. Thundersnow, yeah. Thundersnow is kind of an odd phenomenon. It's because basically in okay, buddy. Okay, most of the thunderstorms you're seeing in like summer, you're going to have a lot of upward lift, warmer air coming up, but obviously that's more of an issue in winter when it's freezing all across. So for thundersnow to occur, you kind of have to have this nice little situation occur. It's you see it a lot off of like the Great Lakes, for instance. Just basically you have cool air, slightly cooler air, and they typically collide. And I'm failing this knowledge test, aren't I? Pretty bad at this. No.
More than I do, and I think I've actually been in thundersnow. So
I'll talk to my people, and I will get back to you guys on that, and I will have a more authoritative answer by the end of the show. Okay?
Sounds good to me. All right, and well, another thing that we also discovered before the show is that Trevor has met almost every Ingress cast member except for Clue. So, Trevor, if you had 5 minutes to chat with the gal, what would you ask her?
I don't know.
Besides her phone number, which I think many a fan has.
No, well, no. Well, I need to get her card first because I don't have the badge yet. And I do really love my swag and my badges. So I guess I would just need to get my mandatory signature, and maybe we could all go into one of our bars around here. Because if she came to one of our meetups, maybe she would come to the East Coast more often and not always be a West Coast or open Europe. But yeah, I think I've met all of them except for Jarvis, and he was only out west.
Which city did you meet Jarvis in?
I said except Jarvis.
Oh! I thought you said. Oh, sorry. I'm getting old. Hard of hearing. I apologize. All right. All right. Speaking of everybody that's hard of hearing, I can't even talk now. It's going to be one of those nice folks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, let's just move on. For everybody watching, remember you can submit questions for our guests. We will ask them in just a few minutes. If you're watching this via YouTube, you have to click on the banner at the bottom of the screen that says "Be part of the conversation." From there, just click the square grid menu icon at the upper right and select Q&A. Also, you can join us in our chat room at behindthescanner.com. Click on chat and ask your questions in there as well. So before we get to those fan questions, though, we have a few more for you guys. We all know that when you start playing Ingress, there's a learning curve, just a little bit of one. And there's a constant evolution, too, with story and the updates and new features, and failure becomes part of the pathway to success. You got to learn and try. I think as Henry Ford once said, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. So have you had this opportunity to begin again with Ingress over the years? Like, what are some certain aspects of the games that you now avoid? Maybe some certain aspects of the game that you embrace because of these past failures? Let's go, Ishart. We haven't heard. Why don't you answer that question first?
Well, okay. Let's go back to my first and last little bit of responsibility. It was Darsana Charleston, and because I had mentioned earlier that I used to geocache, apparently I was the only one who had any experience whatsoever in the area with geocaching. So, yeah, I became the dead drop captain, which was which is a very interesting and unique experience for me. It was the night prior, and at the time, okay, but this, without going into too much detail here, it was, let's just say a lot of people showed up to help me that night, like a lot more than I thought, and we went out and we were blanketing the city looking for the dead drops that evening. We had broken up into teams, and we're spreading out and doing our thing, and it was a couple hours in, and we got a tweet down from Niantic stating, "We haven't put the dead drops out yet."
Oh.
Yeah, we weren't going to put them out to the next morning. So everyone went home. I went back up to North Chuck, got about 2 hours of sleep, came back downtown, but unfortunately at this part, because no one had actually planned to be part of the dead drop team, I spent the entirety of that morning and the entire anomaly, except for like the last 10 minutes at measurement, walking around downtown by myself with one friend looking for the dead drops. With everyone else was busy. Yeah, probably about 20-25 miles of continuous laps around the peninsula.
Oh my God.
Yes, didn't find a single one, by the way. But no, to add insult to injury, my roommate, he also plays. Wasn't involved in anything. He would just kind of walk around. He decided he was going to wander off. Fourth clue came down. He's like, I know where that is. Walks over casually, gets the fourth dead drop. Yeah, bastard. Anyway, then he lost it. He lost it the next day. Yeah, so that taught me a lot of valuable experience about leadership and the like. And more important, well, that taught me. Let me rephrase that. That taught me a lot about planning and how quickly things can go wrong. And more importantly, I let people who seem to be better at this than I am. I let them take the lead nowadays. All right. Anyway.
Trevor, how about you?
Well, I mean, they call it Calvin Ball for a reason. And the rules always change, but I remember at the very beginning we never knew what to expect, and so it could be anything. And now we expect things to change, and we just have to go with it. When we went to Cassandra, I had 4 people with me. We had T-shirts made. It was like the first time we ever did it. We stole someone's logo, who's probably not happy about it. But we were like at a second measurement. We didn't even really know what measurements were. There were people who were way better at it than us. They were planning everything and just kind of leading us around. And it was New York City, and there was a skywriter above us, and we're like, holy crap, Google bought a skywriter, and they're going to put a code up, and we have to decode it, and that'll help us find the things. And it was an ad, and it wasn't anything to do with Ingress. And there were people all going around and being on their phones and not knowing we were playing this game. And now we go to these places, and everyone's wearing shirts, and they have pennants, and they have costumes, and they have swag and coins and everything that you do. And there's like 1,000 people. Everyone's wearing blue and green and cheering and stuff like that, and you can't miss us anywhere we go. And it's just like this huge eruption of change from what it was to what it is now. And so then you go to like a new place, and then people still don't know what it is, but there's 1,000 people who are just like you hanging out and having a great time and doing this thing and people come up to you and like, what is it you are actually doing? Instead of you having to seek people out. Like we were doing the mission day thing, and we had 200 people or something arranged in front of the egg, which is this big amphitheater that's like symbolic of downtown Albany. And this guy's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's asking all these questions. I'm like, trying to take a picture of all these people who would like to get on with this mission day I'm about to do. Can you wait over here a second? And then I will tell you what we're doing. But I don't know. It's been like a real big learning curve. Learning how to react to people and draw people in who aren't interested, and like get people going who are interested, and kind of adapt to all the changes that are along the way. Shards changed the game a lot, and that was a lot of fun. I like iShard, even though Enlightened can't do shards. But
Shards.
Ouch! Ouch!
But I love all the little changes. It's always something new, and it's always something fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Go Wreck this year.
Oh, nice. Very cool. And, well, let's flip that question a little bit. Are there some great successes or unique achievements, or shining moments, if you will, that you've enjoyed while playing Ingress? Trevor?
My favorite was when the fielding badge came out and I was already double Onyx. That's my favorite thing. And that's mostly other people's credit and none of my own. I have a bunch of people who are really fantastic at planning gigafields that will loop me in, and I get to help at the end and maybe throw some fields and get some big points. And it really makes me look good, but it's Samantha Mancini, and it's Volta, and it's a bunch of other people who are fantastic at planning and organizing this stuff, and I get to kind of ride on the coattails of greatness.
All right, and how about you, iShard?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Trevor to a certain degree. It's always been, I've gotten lucky and been surrounded by some of the most amazing people, honestly, in the Southeast. So, but as a result, though, I've gotten to partake in a couple of really exciting things. For a little, I miss the shards. We were shards, not the flash shard. I don't want to talk about Charlotte, but but the old shards in general were so much. They were a brutal sort of fun, and I feel like my little team in the area, that we really just so many times, it would just be like, I remember one time we were parked in front of Ice Palace up in North Charleston, and I had been up all day, and we had been driving around, and I'm sitting there, and I'm about to go home, and they're just looking at me like, oh, we got inbound down in Savannah. I'm like, what? And they were getting ready to go, and I had to work the next morning, and they sat there for about 15, 20 minutes trying to convince me, get in the van, get in the van, get in the van. And I was having enough, none of it. I was, about ready to go to bed, and we just ended up, well, I pretty much told them, F it, let's get in. We just dragged, everyone was about half passed out. We ended up at the cemetery at 1 in the morning, freezing cold, and this was beautiful. It was kind of like this little meetup of people, and we were kind of just enjoying ourselves. There's nothing really going on. We're parked in the shard out in the middle of a dark field. There's no lights, I should mention. This is like out in the middle of the woods, like road, off of freeway, out in the middle of nowhere. And there's cars going by, occasionally, very occasionally, every 5-10 minutes or so. And of course, we're looking over, like, you just hear someone shout, "Car!" And we kind of peek over, "Ooh. Car!" Ooh. And we think we're good. It's about time for the shard to jump. I'd say maybe about 10 minutes before, all of a sudden we see headlights, and then more headlights, and then a convoy of approximately, I don't know, it's 4 or 5 vehicles pull up, and all these Smurfs come out in the middle of this graveyard at 1 in the morning, and we have this big drag, just this smackdown right in the middle of this little lonely cemetery out in the middle of nowhere, and I think that was just, I think that was honestly, that's what Ingress is about for me. It's something something so beautiful about the fact that so many people are so dedicated to this game that they just it's hard to express. It's a more of a feeling. It's really not so much. That determination, that dedication, where someone is, I don't know, stupid or foolhardy enough to actually come out and oh yeah, and we were involved in one of, I'm not sure if it's one of or if it is still the longest link. I'd have to check with them. But we linked straight from Fort Sumter, South Carolina, and Charleston, all the way over to Toulouse out in France, or Toulouse helped us out rather, in one shot and sent shards straight across the ocean. And yeah, I was very much glad to be a part of that.
Something we kind of talked about a little bit ago was the characters. Is there any of the characters that you guys identify with more than others? I don't know, Trevor?
It's not going to be standard, but I love Ione. Crap. Susanna. Susanna is like my favorite character. I went to school for journalism, and she's really fun in person. We managed to get her to break character once and drop her accent, and she laughed, and it was delicious. It was just so funny. And I get the same kind of thing where you roll into something and you're really excited about something and you're going full steam ahead, and then something just throws you right off, and it makes me laugh every time.
That's cool. That's yeah. There's a lot of that. I don't know if it's misdirection, but yeah, definitely throws you off. I don't know. Ishard, what are your thoughts? Is there anybody? Wait, gosh, I almost want to guess. Who does Ishard relate to? I don't know.
Are you okay, Andrew? Are you technically a character now?
No, not I am.
Can you be a character? Can we start writing a backstory for you?
A character.
No. See, the characters tend to die off when they piss Ada off, so I'd rather not be. I am the global community manager for Niantic, and that's about it. I get weird pings and hangout messages every now and then from folks, but.
Well, I would really appreciate everyone in the chat tonight if you could help me write a backstory for Andrew, so we can fully flesh out his character. That would be wonderful. I will post it on Ishard Ingress as soon as availability.
Let's not go down that route. No.
Oh, let's go down that route.
So what about yourself though? Who do you relate to? Is there anyone? The Jarvis coming back from the dead? What?
Hank.
You like being shorted? Oh, Hank.
His sense of dress is impeccable. The tight pants. I mean, you look at him, you're like that right there. That's the man I want to be when I grow up. Yes. So Hank, I'm gonna go with Hank.
Wait, whose pants are tighter, Hank's or Oliver Linton Wolf's?
Ooh, I think Ollie. Yeah, I think Ollie's got.
I think
skinny jeans going. Yeah. Fun fact, did you know that Daphne actually was able to molest Hank Johnson and hang on his biceps? So, yes.
Wow.
No, not. He was very willing. I had his consent, but yes, I maybe someday I will post the picture of his hand inside his shirt. But yes, that was fun, and my hand is now. Anyway, all right, who's ready for viewer questions?
Maybe.
Hang on. All right. We can't wait.
All right. Let's see. Well, Richard Baldwin actually has a good question. Why isn't Ishard answering his phone? I can answer that. I instructed him specifically to silence everything other than this hangout on air. But yes. So
well, I got my phone out right now, so Rich, if you want to call, be my guest.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Woody051 would like to know, Ishard, would you say that you play for the good side or the bad side based on the Ingress storyline? Again, well, anyway, you can answer this.
Well, let's be fair. I think everyone who plays this game thinks that they're the good guys and that everyone else is the bad guy. So, I don't think anyone particularly. Stop calling. I was joking, Rich. Stop. Hang on, guys. I gotta take this. Hi, Rich. What's up, man?
My goodness. All right, so let us ask Trevor, what is something about yourself that you learned through Ingress that you didn't know before?
I lost about half that. What did I learn about myself from Ingress?
Yes.
I think iShard still has this thing unmuted. I don't know. I've made a lot of great friends, and I've learned a lot from them. But I don't know if it's actually taught me anything particular about myself. I learned I like a lot of the strategy that I've been taught by people who are really good at it, and that I'm willing to stay up for very long amount of time walking polylines and doing stupid things so that other people can have really great times. But I'm not sure I like learning that about myself, and I'm not sure I want to do it in the future.
Okay. All right. Moo Musings would like to know for both of you guys, what's your most fondest Ingress memory? And iShard, are you off the phone now? Ready to join back? You have to unmute yourself, though.
Okay, yes, I'm off the phone. Fondest Ingress memory. I hate questions like that, but I've been playing for 3 years. There's been a lot of good times. Oh, good lord. I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
I kind of went through some of the truth be told is that kind of goes back to the other questions. You know, my fondest memories are going to be, the big events, going down to Savannah and all that. I had another. Here, I'll go through this one. Went down there. I was picking up some keys at Savannah. Also, another late night trip, and I had to meet up with a fellow agent who was coming up from another state, and we were getting there. We were right off a freeway ramp. And like I said, it's middle of the night, it's cold, we're at some sort of, it was a Waffle House. And everything's going well and good. She goes to drop. She doesn't have signal. And so we start, okay, well, we walk around a little bit, found a McDonald's, trying to get some Wi-Fi, and still no signal. We spent about an hour and a half wandering around a freeway exit, trying to get signal, and we ended up basically huddling under a hotel canopy, leeching off the one bar. She had pulled out at this point 2 different phones and a tablet, and neither phone worked, but we got the tablet working, and there was just something. I don't know. That kind of it goes back to what I was saying before. It's just that's what this game is to me. It's it's the silly little things like that. It's that you have to be self-aware of the fact you're out at 3 in the morning off a rest stop hunting down for a Wi-Fi signal with a random stranger from 2 states away, and you just have to sit back sometimes and enjoy it.
Right, that's true. Now, how about you, Trevor?
So I'm part of this network, and every so often you get an odd request, and I got a call from a gentleman who was staying at a ski lodge, a state over, with his daughter, and he wanted to get out of the ski lodge. They were there for surgery. He had neck surgery. He was visiting from Bermuda. We'd never met, and we'd never spoken, but he'd gotten my contact information from another person. And so we drove to this ski lodge the state over, picked up him and his daughter, brought him back to our state, went ingressing for the rest of the night, had like a meetup. We got a whole bunch of the locals to show up for this thing. And then I brought him back, and his wife was so happy to be without him for like 15 hours after being stuck with him for like a week. And I'd never met the guy, and he's fantastic. We're going to Bermuda on vacation in about 2 months, and I can't wait to see him again.
Nice, so fun. And actually, question for you, Trevor. What can share us a little bit about your Ingress kilt collection?
So, for the first anomaly, I didn't wear a kilt. I didn't know you could wear kilts, and I'd never worn a kilt before. Volta actually, and Constantine, a couple others decided to wear a kilt, so we were all in a hangout together for organizing. They're like, I think I'm going to buy a kilt for this thing. I was like, you know what? I think I'll buy a kilt for this thing too. So I did. I just went out and bought a kilt on it. And they're fantastic. I've worn a kilt to every anomaly since.
Andrew is very well experienced at wearing kilts to anomalies as well.
Very freeing. I like it. Yes.
I
very, very,
have
very
not
nice.
had that experience myself, but I'll let you guys enjoy that. All right, and oh, here's a really interesting question from Metaphor. If you could invent a mod, what would it be? So, Shard, what would your mod be?
Oh dear. If I could invent a mod, I don't know. Let's. You know, I've never really thought about it. It's not really something that.
You want to think about it for a bit? Do you have one, Trevor, that you've been itching for?
Yeah, it's a third faction mod. Wait, no. It's another team mod. No. No, I can't really think of one.
Yeah, I don't think I can either. But yeah, I guess I'm pretty happy when they can. Oh, I think I know what I'd like. But
I've thought of one.
oh, what?
Okay, what if we had a mod that, okay, when people attack the portal, it could act as like a shield and stop the attacks. You know, like say maybe like 30 or 50% damage, something like that. You could apply it. They could come in like rare, very rare, quantities. We could do something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be a good mod.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Or like a very, very rare forces. That's
I like that. All right, the Bacon Quake would like to know from Trevor, are you willing to join the Bacon faction?
I believe that I am a founding member of the Bacon faction, whatever the Bacon faction is, because I love bacon.
Indeed, who doesn't? But I hear that that's the big temptation. Oh, and Jen C. Burchick would like to know, are you excited about the new Flash Shard event editions? And Trevor, your thoughts?
Sure. Always up for shards. We're resistance. We like shards.
You know what? Jorge's not here, but he grumbles about them about as much as I do.
My first experience with shards was Shard 1. After that debacle in Governor's Island.
Yeah.
We got it out of New Jersey and up to the coast of Connecticut, and I traveled 2.5 hours out there just to take down 2 links before we threw it through Long Island, where this really cool guy Eck was playing. I met him when we first made our first level 8 farm with our first level 8 agents, and I brought and dropped him gear outside of like a Denny's or something like that. He had to do it one thing at a time for like 500 items, and I didn't even meet the guy. And you haven't met like any agents yet, and you never know who you're gonna meet. And Eck is this old guy He doesn't look like he knows how to use a phone, and he is like fantastic at playing this game. Absolutely, he's a great guy.
Okay, and how about you, Aishard?
Let's see. What was the question? I'm sorry. I have people messaging. My bad. What was the question again?
The question was about flash shard additions to the anomaly.
I have mixed emotions. I enjoy them, but at the same time, I much prefer the old, the 2, 3, 4 week grueling shard events. Got to plus, like I said, I mentioned earlier, there was the joy that was Charlotte, where we pretty much had a dominant ground game, and everything was, we're walking around the field, everything is green, green, green. It was just like grass, but apparently there was a hole. We got fielded over, and then the field fell down, and then all the shards left, and despite basically having the entire anomaly cornered, we still ended up losing. So I'm not sure. I like the idea. I'm not sure how I am with the previous point system. So I think it needs a little bit of tweaking still.
Okay, good to know. Well, it is now time for that. At the end of each show, we allow our guests 60 seconds to talk about whatever they'd like. Give their shout-outs, show off a talent, or whatever. So why don't we go ahead and start with you, Trevor?
I have to shout out to all my Capital District resistants. They're fantastic. A couple notables, Jennifer and Guinevere, and Rowan and Blob, and Texgal, and all of my local crew who are all fantastic. My extended family out east, all the local agents that I deal with every day, and local community members in states everywhere around here that I talk to all the time. They're fantastic. And way down south in South Carolina, my friend is Zombie, who flew a helicopter over your Charlotte anomaly, which was fantastic too. Was invited to go. Didn't want to go to South Carolina, but it would have been fantastic.
All right. And how about you, Aishard?
Really, I guess I just want to thank, obviously everyone from Charleston, Rich, Ivy, Manfred, the whole gang. I want to thank the whole Southeastern crew except Musto, the Irish guys, especially Flo. Thank you, Flo. Yeah, except Musto. Kent, Dan, God, Lord, there's so many people. Remy from France. Everyone, of course, who follows Aishard Ingress. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me. And don't forget to go to the Tucson Anomaly. And they're also having one in Orlando.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for being here tonight. And the audience, thank you so much for watching and being in the chat room. Always a fun treat, as always. So
thanks, guys.
Yeah. See you all next week. I know. The sound is not on for.
Oh, there's no music. Oh.
Oh, but what do you think of the new visuals? It's changing. It's
color coded too. Sweet.
Yes. I mean, it is very a cross-faction venture, but it's a whole new season.